Hello and welcome to Environmental Science Online. I am Miss Williams. I will be your instructor for this course. First thing, SUNY decided to change us to Brightspace for the next 10 years. So it's new to me, it's new to you. We're all in this together. I'm going to walk you through the content of the course, where things are, general, premise, how you go about this course, what needs to be done to pass, all that fun stuff. So let's get right down to it. I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see what I'm talking about. And just know this, if you have a question, please don't hesitate to ask me. So let's see, there we go. I'm going to show you this one. So I've gotten kind of skilled with Brightspace. I hope things are set up well, but there's glitches forever. Blackboard, there were always glitches. So if you think something's up and it's not quite right, don't just sit there, not getting a grade to show or not able to submit something or any 1,001 odd things that could happen under the sun. Just contact me. Let me know. If you don't clue me in, I can't do anything to help you. So that is word of advice number one. All right, so let's go to your class, and I'm going to show you on my master site because I'm not going to record this video every single semester. So this video will apply to all semesters. So here we go. Everything's kind of laid out for you. Now, a couple of things. I want you to go into your settings and change some things. So you're going to go into your profile picture. You're going to hit notifications. Please, for the love of all things wholesome, change your notifications. Now, if you have your phone set up, great. If you have your email set up, and you actually read your email, also great. So few things. You need this. New announcements. Announcements are important for the class. Okay. Assignments. Hey, assignment due date is 2 days away. That's a good one to check. If you want to hear feedback, sometimes in feedback, if something didn't work, I'll put it in feedback. For example, if you are a Mac user and you load anything that is .pages or HEIC from your phones or something, I can't see that. If it loads that way, I put it in the feedback. I'll say, hey, I can't see this. And you won't get credit. If I can't see your work, I can't grade it, so you won't get credit. So I would put that assignment feedback updated. Then I'm not going to create new things during the semester. Everything's already in there. If you want to know when your grades are released, they're automatically released. The ones that are automatically graded. All things that I have to go in and manually grade don't get released. So don't freak out if you don't see a grade for something where you had to actually enter a typed response, or where you had to enter a phrase. That stuff I have to go in and actually manually grade. So just don't worry, I'll get to it eventually. And here you go, quizzes, and quizzes includes quizzes and tests. So quizzes, due date or end date is 2 days away. You're going to want that. In this class, you have 6 quizzes, 4 tests. There is no final. Everything is given a due date. Everything is given an end date. So right now, the entire course is open. You can work ahead. By all means, work ahead. But please, don't get behind. Getting behind is the worst thing that you could do in this class, because there's just more work to do the further you go. If you find yourself getting behind, if you're confused by this course at all, reach out to me, reach out to the tutors, okay? A lot of times I've found that students get hung up with navigating the course, knowing where things are, or just general following directions. I'm only available certain times of the week. I can't always I do my best to work with students' schedules, but sometimes it's just easier to go see a tutor. And you don't even have to have a discipline specific tutor. You can go down to anybody in the Learning Commons. They're all amazing, and they can read through the directions of a lab with you and help clarify things that maybe you're hung up on. They can show you how to navigate things on Brightspace, if maybe you're getting hung up there. So just please always reach out to tutors. You can go online and schedule appointments if you want to schedule as opposed to pop in. You can do virtual appointments, or of course, reach out to me. But don't let yourself get behind. And don't hesitate to reach out. If you're like, oh, I'm struggling with this lab, talk to somebody. Okay, we are here to help you. So please click those notifications and save it. Okay, I'm going to hit cancel because this is something I want you to do. I don't need to be notified when a due date is due. I set them. So, okay, please do that first thing. Second, let's see what we got. So go up to content, and Brightspace takes forever to load. It's not your computer, it's Brightspace. Anyway, so I have everything set up. Under lecture, you have all of the weeks of the semester, and why the test weeks are parceled out is because there's no new information covered during test weeks. This is an opportunity for you to catch up. So you'll have, 3 or so weeks of material. You'll have discussions, quizzes, articles, chapters to read, discussions to respond to, and then your test week, no new information. You don't have to read anything, you don't have to write anything, but you do have to take your exam, and this is an opportunity for you to catch up. So if you didn't take quiz 1 in the second week of class, you can take it by the end, by test 4. And this course is set up to have grace periods so that if you miss a due date, you can still take it up to a certain point in the semester, which is midterms or finals. And I'll go over that in more detail. Discussions, you need to submit an original thread and then a response to 2 classmates. That's how you get full credit. Original thread, 2 classmates, 3 entries per discussion. You'll get your 10 points per discussion. That's all you need to do. And they're not crazy. It's, for example, let's go look at week 1. Okay. Week 1, you're just going to introduce yourself. Okay. It's that simple. That one, you don't really have to respond to anybody, but week 2, you do. So down here, okay, you're going to do, which one is it? Discussion forum, laws of thermodynamics. Okay. You're going to answer the question. There's a prompt question for all of these. You're going to watch this short video. It's like 4 minutes. Okay. And then you're going to respond. Then once other classmates have entered their responses, you will respond to 2 classmates. So 3 full entries. Up here in week 1, we also have a sustainability forum. Okay. So sustainable food. And it says like, this is a gradable item. All of the discussions are gradable items. So make sure you pay attention to these things. Now, I don't have it added there, but this is a gradable item. All discussions, tests, quizzes, labs, all of that's graded. Okay, so let's see. Getting started. That's important. Go here first. Okay. This will be updated with the video I'm currently recording. And then the schedule. Now, this is the previous semester schedule. This is, of course, my master site. So I update the schedule with every semester. But yours, my current one for the fall looks like this. Okay. So your, whatever semester you're in presently that you're watching this video, this schedule will be updated. Okay. This explains what all the lettering is. Okay. These are the weeks, the semester weeks, white lettering, suggested days. So here's the thing with my class. You can do it when I say to, or you can do it when you find the time, as long as you get it done by its due date. So I don't care if you read chapter 1 on Tuesday, as opposed to Wednesday or Thursday. It makes no, I'm not monitoring you, but you have to get it done. Okay. So that's on you. So this is an exercise in time management. The things that are due at the end of the week, everything will be due at the end of the week. They're listed here. They're also listed there. So you have a column for due dates and you have the day that they're due. So most things are due on Sundays. Your first week, you need to take your syllabus quiz. It's wicked important. It walks you through, the nuances of the class, and it's going to answer pretty much every question you probably have right now. So after you watch this video, go take that quiz. And then, and by the way, you have to take your syllabus quiz before you can do anything else, because absolutely nothing will open to you until you've completed your syllabus quiz. That's how important it is. You have to do that by Sunday. If you don't, it's late, you get 20 points off. Quiz 1 is due by Friday. So this means while you don't have to do things exactly on the days that they're suggested, you have to get it done so that you get your work in on time. So the first week of class right now, go read chapter 1, review the chapter 1 PowerPoint, do the discussions, get started on the microscope lab, and then take quiz 1. You can break that up throughout your week however you need to, as long as you get your work done on time. If you don't get your work done on time, you can still do it. Don't leave zeros in the grade book, but get it done by the grace period. And the grace periods are labeled here. So the first one ends on midterms, okay? Everybody has schedules. Everybody has things that they need to do, family that they have to take care of, stuff like that. That's why I give you some wiggle room in your schedule. If you miss something, you can still take it, but I have to enter midterm grades. So your first grace period ends before I have to enter midterm grades. Okay. So as long as you get things done by the grace period, it explains it here. All work from weeks 1 through 7 must be submitted. 20-point penalty will be applied to all work not submitted on its due date. No work. Listen, this is important. If I've lost you, come back to me. I will not take late work from weeks 1 through 7. I've already graded it. I should have graded it. Okay, you should have turned it in. And it's midterms. I have to enter your midterm grades. So you have this buffer, okay? These are the boundaries that you have to work within, but you have a lot of leniency in between there, okay? Follow the schedule, pay attention to your due dates, get your work in on time, and if you don't, at a last resort, get it in by the grace period. If you don't get material from weeks 1 through 7 in by midterms, sorry, do better in the second half of the semester, okay? But no, zeros on tests and quizzes and labs are going to drastically affect your grade. I have had students in the past kind of put a lot off until the midterm grace period. Don't be that student. Don't do that. It's not a good way to operate, okay? Try to stay on top of your work. If you have questions, as I said, just get in contact, okay? So then same concept applies for the second grace period at the end of the semester. Here, okay, second grace period, all exams, extra credit, labs, discussions, quizzes, all of it due by, what is this, December 3rd, okay? So anything from weeks 8 to 13, I will take until December 3rd. I will not take anything from weeks 8 to 13 after December 3rd, okay? The only thing that you can turn in after December 3rd is the stuff in these weeks, okay? This final week of class, where I give you a little bit more room to take test 4, get your final discussion in, okay? And then this gives me the week to grade those last items before I have to submit grades, okay? So just pay attention to your grace periods. You get 2, midterms and finals. Stay on top of your due dates. You're gonna have stuff due every single Sunday of the semester. So get them in on time. And you can submit ahead. Now listen, here's another important thing. Brightspace has this new way of submitting things called I can't do it for you. You have to do it. The previous operating system, Blackboard, I could go in and manually submit your work if you forgot to do it. I can't do that anymore. So if you're taking an exam and you're like, I need to go take a break, and you get, derailed and oops, I forgot to submit my quiz. I can't do it for you. Okay. So you have to, that's what that means. And if you don't, it's a 0. It's just one of the things about Brightspace that is so wonderful. So just submit your work. I mean, it's pretty simple, submit your work, but you'd be surprised how much work doesn't get submitted. And, I can't chase everybody around to remind them to submit things. So just please do that. Okay. So there's that. Let's see. What else do you guys need to see? Oh, so there's lab. There is lab in this class. Okay. So laboratories, pretty straightforward also. It is, of course, listed. Like, for example, let's go back to the beginning. Your first lab is going to be the microscope. Your second lab is going to be metric. They go in order here. Microscope, metric. You just click on that. Everything opens up to you, what you need to do. Now, you are going to follow along in your lab book, but your lab book is written for the in-person experience, and you, of course, are the online experience. So not everything is going to match up precisely, but we will be using the lab book for background information, like reading, and some just, like learning how to use the metric system and the pH scale and all that kind of stuff. But then your actual activities, the work that you submit to be graded for your lab, those are going to happen here online through the Brightspace page. So you just click on activity 1, you do it, and it correlates precisely with activity 1 in the book. But some of them, there's going to be a little divergence. Okay. So just, that's what you're doing. You have all these different activities, and just, scroll down. They're all labeled. This is an activity. It says quiz right here. That means you need to do it. And then these links, these are just links to help you do the activity. Your lab book. Okay. So in laboratory, you don't have to buy it. It's cheap. So if you are, if you prefer something in your hand, it's like $6 or something. Because myself and some other colleagues wrote it, and we were able to get our rights back from Pearson and publish it in-house. So that's good. Anyway, so it's an in-house pub. It's cheap. But it's here also if you just want the electronic version. Okay. So you can download that. It's the entire lab manual. So you don't have to get a paper copy if you don't want to. Now, important, if I've lost you, come back to me. Lab material list, check it out. This is important. You have to have this. You have to have this before you do your labs. Okay. So the next thing that you should do after you take your syllabus quiz is you should order your materials. So you will have a number of materials that you'll need to carry out the labs. I tried to make them as hands-on as possible. Don't worry that it says summer 2020. It's all the same. Give me 1 second here. Share, and we're going to okay, so down here, these are the 3 things that you need to order from Amazon. Okay. A test kit, a soil kit, and litmus paper. These are things that aren't common in people's kitchen. So you need to buy them. They're not expensive. I tried to keep it under $100 total. I think it comes to like 50. But prices change all the time, so it shouldn't be too much. But again, you don't have to buy a lab book. So, oh, and you can totally rent your textbook. I would if I were you. Then common household items. Okay, if you don't have these, go to the dollar store and get them. If you're in the dorm and you don't have them, ask your RA. They can usually source these for you. Okay, you will need to create crushed eggshells or use baking soda, and you also will be obtaining a soil sample. I'm not kidding. I literally want you to go, the best place, honestly, is a country road in the ditch. That the soil's always loose there. even in the winter. So I don't want to hear, oh, the ground's frozen. No, you can find a soil, and don't buy soil. It's a pain in the butt to work with. And you're buying soil for what? For that much soil. Okay, don't buy soil. You're not going to get any good results, and it's terrible to work with. Just, if you're going to dig a hole in your backyard or whatever, just, fill the hole. You can go to state lands. You can pretty much go anywhere. Any side of the road where there's a ditch, there's loosened soil. So just go get some, dry it out. I recommend just drying it out, over time. But if you need to dry it in a hurry, you can put it in the oven at 200 for a few hours, and it will dry itself out and also kill any bugs that might be in there. So this is environmental science. You're working with dirt. If you have questions, email me. So get your materials. All right, back to laboratory. You will be writing a lab report. Now, if I've lost you, come back to me. Students freak out about the lab report. It's general education requirement. You have to do it. In order to pass lab, you have to do it. I don't make those rules, okay? You have to write a lab report. It's a part of the course. So it's down here, stream analysis. It's the only lab report you have to do in this class, just one. So here's the rules, okay? Now listen, the grace period does not apply to the lab report. Grading these things, I don't want to have to do it later. I want to get them all at once, grade, be done, okay? So I make that rule. I'm not taking it after its due date. So get it in by its due date or bust. You get 3 weeks, okay? So I'll take it ahead of time. If you are working on it and you got a rough draft and you want me to review it, by all means, email it to me. I'll get around to it as soon as I can. I try during stream analysis weeks, because you get 3. I do my best to have a really quick turnaround time if you're sending me rough drafts. Okay, so I will 100% review your in the works lab if you send it to me, but you got to send it to me before the due date. And I'm not talking the day before, I'm talking like week 2. Okay, so that I have a couple days to review it and get it back to you before you need to edit it and then turn it in by its due date. So just keep these things in mind. But I will take them and I will review them. But I will not take them after the due date. So if you want to submit them ahead of time, please do. If you want me to review it, I'd be happy to. Just don't give it to me late. I'm not taking it. This is the only item. Okay, it's the only one. Everything else you can turn in late, but this. So lock that in your steel traps. Okay, so all that's stated there, I just said it. And everything's broken down by week. Okay, so week 1, this is what you should do. And here's videos to help you understand what you're doing. Okay. This document, stream analysis, what you need to write and the data to do it. I don't know how more straightforward I can get with that guy. Okay. And then the lab report guidelines and rubric, read it. These 2 items are really all you need to write your paper. Okay. So let's look at them. Lab report guidelines and rubric. A lot of times you say paper and students go, right? Like, oh, I have to write something, right? Especially a lab report, because analytical writing, right? But this is going to walk you through formatting this is how it should look. If your spaces aren't perfect because your margins are set different than mine, then 8 spaces is fine, as long as it looks like this, okay? Google Docs is fine. You can do it in Google Docs. It doesn't have to be in Word, okay? You got to have these sections. Okay, there's videos. You watch them, but this walks you through how to write a lab report in general, but specifically how to write this one. And then it even shows you formatting for your tables. And at the very end, when students say, I don't know how to or what to include, well, check it out. The hardest part of writing a paper, specifically a lab report, is writing the outline. I have done that step for you. So if you follow this point specific checklist, you'll be fine. Okay, so correct format. Did you give me the heading and then a body? Hypothesis. What's the purpose? What is the lab about? Okay, define and explain. Give me a definition and describe it. Literally go into the dictionary or your book copy and paste the definition and then explain it just a little bit more detail. Like, why is it relevant to the environment? Nitrate. You'll learn that in chapter 5. Okay. So that's it. All right. It takes some work. It takes some time because there's a lot of reading, and there's a lot of definition writing, and there's some thought. But if you walk through this and you use this rubric, you'll be fine. So follow this rubric. Okay. Then that's the first document that you really need. Everything else that is in the folder is just kind of like extra stuff. Okay. This one, directions, what you need to write in the data to do it. So you're not going on the field trip, but this lab is written as if you did. So pretend you went down to a stream and you collected a whole bunch of nutrient data and a whole bunch of parameters for the creek and caught in a net a bunch of critters. That data is here. Here is all your data. These are the nitrate concentrations for groups A, B, and C. Phosphate, dissolved oxygen, width, depth, all the parameters of the stream. And then down here are all the pictures of the critters that we found in the stream. So this is your abiotic, your living, and your biotic, your non-living data. You need to take this, put it in a table, and then compare your results in the discussion. And identify these guys using the plates and materials provided to you in the folder. So really straightforward. It's the only lab that you have to write. It's 15% of your lab grade. If you don't write it, I can't give you higher than a 69 in the class because 70 is a C. But there is an alternative. So even after me breaking it down and making it as simple as possible, if you still don't want to write the whole lab report, there's an option for you, which is the alternate. So complete this only if you wish to opt out of the lab report, in which case I can only give you a 79. Okay. So you can get a 7 in all of lab, not on the paper. If you do the alternate, the highest grade that you can get, no matter how you did on everything else in lab, is 79. And then lab is blended into lecture. Okay. If you don't do the lab report at all, the highest that I can give you is a 69, depending on how you did on everything else. Usually students who don't do the lab report tend to fail lab. So just, do it. All right. I felt like I needed to say questions, but none of you are in front of me. Okay. So if you have questions, shoot me an email. And so that's, honestly, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the major points of the course. The prime things that you need to pay attention to, your lab report, your lab materials, where your lab manual is. Don't miss your test and quizzes. Pay attention to your grace periods, and do not hesitate to reach out, see me, see a tutor. And I've put due dates on everything. They should be correct. If they're not, if you find one that's wrong, let me know, because I do want to get those fixed so that they're correct for future semesters. And just again, if there's anything that comes up that seems glitchy to you, it probably is. And it's most likely a setting that I can change or fix, possibly. There's a lot of things in Brightspace that I don't have control over, but there's a lot of things that I do. If I can fix it, I will. So if it seems glitchy, it probably is. Please reach out so I can iron out as many possible kinks, okay? So that's the bottom line of this class. I hope you enjoy it. You're going to learn a lot about the environment. Please engage respectfully with your classmates and reach out if you have questions. So I will stop sharing my screen, and I hope you all have a great semester.